a very recent event that we in Southern California just annually go through, but just experienced. There's something called the Santa Ana winds, a warm and dry wind that sweeps through our region.
Hello and welcome. I'm Dan Hounsell, Senior Editor with Trade Press Media Group. I'm here this morning with Joe Brothman, who is Director of Facilities and General Services with UC Irvine Health in Irvine, California. Joe, let's talk about your involvement in resilience when it comes to the facilities at UC Irvine Health. First of all, how would you describe your role and responsibilities in resilience overall, assessing risks, whatever it might be, to your facilities?
So I participate in our annual hazard vulnerability assessment, which takes account and assesses various risks to both our infrastructure and our operations. So that exercise highlights where we need to focus our efforts on prioritizing both funding and planning for infrastructure resiliency. Something like looking at our HVAC infrastructure. Many years ago, we determined that that was a high risk probability for failure. So over the years, we've invested heavily in that, and that was based on that hazard vulnerability assessment.
Joe, can you give me an example of maybe one such risk? I could assume a number of different things are risks to your facilities in Southern California, but can you give me an example of one such risk and anything specifically you'd like to say about how you've prepared your facility to be more resilient in that case?
Absolutely. A very recent event that we in Southern California just annually go through, but just experienced. There's something called the Santa Ana winds, a warm and dry wind that sweeps through our region, which produces humidity levels in the low single digits, 5 or 4%, which we know raises considerable risks in our operating rooms and in other procedural environments. We've identified that as an ongoing risk. It's not really something we can control. It's an act of God, but we do have operations that are impacted by this. So what we've done over the years is we've both improved our maintenance and our equipment that serves these high-risk environments for these low-frequency but high-risk events. We've also implemented policies and procedures for our clinicians to utilize, because there is ways that you can trend the data and determine if there is a risk or provide the clinicians with input for the environment. So both on the equipment side, improving that reliability, and on the procedures and policy side, training our clinicians and our clinical team partners to their operating environment, what is safe, and educating them to the risks that this poses. That's been a really successful effort from both our clinical team members and our infrastructure team.
So the risks to facilities are ongoing, obviously, and the events seem to be more expensive and more intense. What is the next step for your organization in terms of continuing to prepare for resilience in the event of emergencies?
So with the construction of our new campus in Irvine, we're really fortunate to have a brand new from Greenfield campus coming up, taking into account a lot of different risks and things that we wish we could have done in all of our campuses here in Southern California, all of our locations. So what we're doing now, and the next step that we're taking as an organization is just that, looking at our main campus here in Orange, beautiful Orange near Disneyland, and evaluating this infrastructure for a long-term master plan, given everything you just mentioned, the new risks, the new norms that we're seeing, high temperature events, smoke inundation, and looking at our existing infrastructure and portfolio of buildings and assessing what would be the best thing for our patients, our coworkers, and everyone who comes to our campus to provide for our community. So we're really excited to continue on the process of improving all of our locations, and especially here in Orange, our main campus, which has been part of the community for over 100 years, and doing what's best to continue to provide that excellent level of care that everyone expects and needs from UC Eye Health.
I have been speaking today with Joe Brothman, Director of Facilities and General Services with UC Irvine Health. I'm Dan Hounsel. Thank you for joining us.